Hey guys, okay, so this is our first Stave Church along our way from Oslo to Bergen, and this is the first one we're gonna see. It's called Øye Stave Church. It is an original, and it dates all the way back to the very end of the 12th century. So this would be right after the Viking Age has ended. So the people building this church were probably maybe children or grandchildren of Vikings. So you have to keep that in mind when you look at it. The old mythology is still very close to them. So when they were building these churches, they built them with their own twist. Let's check it out. This is fantastic, fantastic Stave Church. Would you look at that? There she is. Øye Stave Church. It is the smallest stave church in Norway, but I have to say it is just placed in one of the most beautiful spots I have seen so far on this trip. Look at the backdrop. We're just here when the sun is setting, so you can see this warm red light on the mountains, these gigantic Norwegian mountains, and right here by this fjord stands Øye. Now, the first records about this church appear in history in 1347. However, it is of course believed that it is much older. It dates to 1180 to 1200. This church has a very unique history to itself. So, because it was so close to the water, as you can see, here's the church, here's our fjord. It was stationed, it is believed, closer to the fjord, much closer. And because of that, it would flood all the time. So people said that back by the fjord, you could still see some old graves just a few years back, because sometimes water would kind of wash away some of the land and these old graves would come up. So because it was such a problematic area, it would flood all the time, people said, okay, well, why don't we move the church from down the shore to somewhere where it's a little less watery? So they moved it to there, and that's the new church. And it's made out of stone. And nobody quite knew what happened to the old Stave Church. People thought, well, perhaps it burnt down, perhaps just degraded. Nobody quite knew. And so for 200 years, that church was all that stood here. Now, flip forward to 1937. These guys that were in charge of this church, they wanted to do some groundwork, renovate it a little bit. And when they went in there, what they discovered is in the basement, under the planks, they found wood. They found wood, and they thought, well, what is this? And as it turned out to be, that was the original wood from the original Stave Church built in the 12th century. So the church never burned down. It never disappeared. It was just stored all these years under this one. And so then they said, well, this is really cool history. We got to recreate it. And they rebuilt it. So the Stave Church that you see behind me is rebuilt from these wooden supplies they found in the basement of that church. And obviously, some parts were missing, and the design of the church might not be exactly like it was originally. However, it is really, really close. They took all the historical documents available, and they redesigned it and rebuilt it. They built it a little bit further away from the shore so it wouldn't flood again. But yes, so they rebuilt it, and here you go, the original Øye Church standing in almost original place in almost original state. There you go. So if you have a chance, stop by, take a look at this ancient structure, and just get a feel for what it was like to be a Christian at those turbulent times when Norway was changing. And see how different, and it's just amazing to see how different it looks from anything like what we built today. And you'll get a bonus of seeing a beautiful sight. And also, it's only 2 minutes from the main highway, which runs just up there. So yeah, enjoy and Take a look at this one.